The sky darkened over New York City at noon, not from clouds or an eclipse, but from something much worse. A massive shadow crept across the buildings, turning day into night. People stopped in the streets and looked up. Traffic halted. Phones came out to record what was happening. Above them floated a ship so large it blocked the sun. It stretched for miles, dark metal gleaming against the blue sky. Similar reports came in from London, Beijing, Moscow, and dozens of other major cities. The ships appeared everywhere at once. "This is bad," said General Wilson as he stared at the monitors in the Pentagon's command center. "Very bad." No one argued with him. The room buzzed with activity as military personnel rushed to stations. Phones rang. Orders were shouted. The president would be calling any minute. "Sir, they're broadcasting something," a young technician said. "It's on all frequencies." The main screen flickered, and a face appeared. Not human. The creature had gray skin, 4 eyes, and no visible nose. It wore what looked like a military uniform with countless medals and badges. "People of Earth," it said in perfect English, "I am Admiral Kane of the Galactic Empire. Your planet is now under our control. Resistance is pointless. Your weapons are primitive. Your technology is laughable. Submit or be destroyed within 3 Earth days." The message repeated in every language on Earth. Panic spread. Stock markets crashed. Religious leaders called for prayer. Military forces went on high alert. Governments held emergency meetings. In a small office at MIT, Dr. Mike Reynolds watched the message for the 20th time. Unlike most people, he wasn't panicking. He was confused. Mike was a xenolinguist, someone who studied how alien languages might work. He never expected to use his skills on real aliens, but here they were. "Something's off," he muttered, making notes on a pad. The alien's mouth movements didn't match the words. The grammar was too perfect. And why would aliens use Earth military ranks like Admiral? His phone rang. "Dr. Reynolds, this is General Wilson. We need you in Washington. Now." 6 hours later, Mike sat in a room with top military and government officials. They argued about missiles and surrender terms. "Excuse me," Mike said, raising his hand. No one noticed. "Excuse me," he said louder. The room quieted. "I think we're missing something important," Mike said. "Their message contains 17 distinct linguistic inconsistencies. Their technology seems advanced, but their understanding of basic physics appears flawed based on their ship's visible propulsion system." "Doctor, we don't have time for academic observations," General Wilson said. "You don't understand," Mike insisted. "Either these aliens are remarkably similar to humans in ways that defy evolutionary logic, or something very strange is happening. Their threats have logical fallacies. Their technology descriptions contradict themselves." The room grew quiet again. "What are you suggesting?" asked the Secretary of Defense. "I'm suggesting," Mike said slowly, "that we may not be dealing with the unstoppable force they claim to be. I need to analyze more of their communications. We're facing extinction, and you want to study their grammar." General Wilson's face reddened. "Yes," Mike said firmly, "because I think the Galactic Empire may not understand us as well as they think they do. And if I'm right, that gives us an advantage." A young analyst named Sam spoke up. "He might be onto something. The Empire ships haven't actually fired on us despite having clear tactical advantage." The president, who had been silent, finally spoke. "You have 12 hours, Dr. Reynolds. Find me something useful, or we consider our limited options." Mike nodded, already thinking about the patterns he'd spotted. The so-called Galactic Empire had made their first mistake. They had underestimated human curiosity, and humans were very, very curious. Mike didn't sleep. He spent all night studying the Empire's messages, finding more and more strange errors. By morning, he had filled 3 notebooks with observations. "They're inviting us aboard their ship," General Wilson said when he called. "A diplomatic meeting. You're coming with us." 6 hours later, Mike stood in a group of 4 humans waiting to board a small shuttle. Captain Jane Wilson, the general's daughter and a top military strategist, checked her watch. Professor Tom Grant, a physicist with 3 Nobel Prizes, looked nervous. Sam Miller from intelligence kept his face blank. "Remember," Jane said, "we're just gathering information. Don't agree to anything." The shuttle arrived, piloted by Empire soldiers. Up close, they were tall beings with 4 arms and gray skin. They didn't speak as the shuttle flew up to the massive mothership. "Their engine shouldn't work," Tom whispered to Mike. "The configuration breaks basic laws of physics, yet here we are." The mothership's landing bay was huge, filled with strange ships and hundreds of aliens. The humans were led to a large meeting room where Admiral Kane waited. "Welcome, Earth representatives," Kane said. He was taller than the others, with more elaborate clothing. "You are here to discuss terms of surrender." "We're here to learn more about the Empire," Jane replied firmly. Kane smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Then learn." He pressed a button, and the wall became a screen showing planets being destroyed. "This is what happens to those who resist." Mike watched carefully. The explosions didn't look right. The physics was wrong. He glanced at Tom, who nodded slightly. He saw it too. "Impressive," Sam said smoothly. "May we see your weapon systems to understand what we face." Kane seemed pleased by their fear. "Follow me." They were led through corridors filled with alien technology. Tom kept falling behind, studying everything. The Empire soldiers pushed him forward impatiently. "This is our main weapon," Kane announced, showing them a massive cannon. "It can destroy your planet with one shot." Tom walked around it, looking thoughtful. "What energy source powers it?" he asked. Kane spoke about something called quantum fusion, but the explanation made Tom raise his eyebrows. The terms made no scientific sense. After the tour, they were taken back to the meeting room. "You have 2 days left to surrender," Kane reminded them, "or we demonstrate our power on one of your cities." Back on Earth, the team gathered in a secure room. "Their technology is mostly for show," Tom said immediately. "That weapon couldn't possibly work as described. The power requirements would make the ship explode." "Their soldiers carried weapons that violate conservation of energy," Sam added. "And did you notice? None of them were actually armed when we were in the private areas." Jane nodded. Their military formation was all wrong. No real strategic thinking. Mike spread out his notes. "Their language patterns suggest they don't fully understand their own technology. They use terms incorrectly. It's like they're reciting from a script they don't understand." "So what are we saying?" General Wilson asked. "That the most powerful empire in the galaxy is faking it?" "Not entirely," Mike said. "Their ships are real. They're here. But I think they've conquered other worlds through fear, not actual combat. Their weapons might be powerful, but not nearly what they claim." "We need proof before we make any decisions," the president said from a video screen. "If we're wrong, the consequences are unthinkable." "Then let's test them," Jane suggested. "Something small. See how they react." "We'll need to be careful," Sam warned, "if they realize we're onto them." "We have less than 2 days," General Wilson said. "What do you propose?" Mike smiled for the first time since the ships arrived. "I think I know where to start. Their communication system has a weakness. If we exploit it correctly, we might expose more of their bluff." The team looked at each other. For the first time, a small spark of hope appeared. The mighty Galactic Empire might not be so mighty after all. "It's working," Mike shouted as his fingers flew across the keyboard. On the screen, Empire communications flickered and changed. It had been 18 hours since their return from the mothership. Mike had been working non-stop on a program to interfere with Empire transmissions. Tom had joined him, adding physics equations that made Empire technology descriptions self-contradictory. "Their translators can't handle our changes," Mike explained to General Wilson. When we add these specific patterns, their systems try to correct them and create nonsense. In another room, Tom worked with military engineers to develop countermeasures against Empire weapons. If their quantum fusion worked as they claim, the energy would destroy their own ships. Tom said, "They must be using something much simpler, something with limitations." Jane studied reports from around the world. Empire ships remained in position, but had taken no action since the meeting. "They're waiting for us to surrender out of fear," she said. "That's their pattern. They've never needed to actually fight." Sam entered the room with new information. "I've accessed some of their databases using the communication weakness Mike found. It's incredible. They've conquered hundreds of planets without firing a shot. Most species surrender after the first demonstration." "What demonstration?" General Wilson asked. "They choose an uninhabited area and trigger what looks like massive destruction," Sam explained. "But it's mostly visual effects combined with conventional explosives. Very impressive, but not planet-destroying." The team gathered with world leaders to share their findings. "We believe the Empire uses fear as their primary weapon," Jane explained. "Their actual technology is advanced, but not beyond our understanding, and certainly not magical as they want us to believe." "So what do you propose?" the president asked. "Direct confrontation would still be dangerous," Tom cautioned. "They do have weapons, even if they're not what they claim." "I suggest psychological warfare," Jane said. "We use their own tactics against them." "We show them humans aren't easily frightened," Mike added. "At least not for long." The president looked skeptical. "You want to play mind games with an alien empire." "It's what they're doing to us," Sam pointed out. "And they're not prepared for resistance. Their entire strategy assumes immediate surrender." After hours of debate, the world leaders reluctantly agreed to a plan. They called it Operation Jester. First, they altered their communications. When the Empire demanded updates on surrender plans, Earth sent back messages with subtle errors in the Empire's own language. This confused the aliens, who weren't used to species analyzing their communications. Next, Tom created devices that interfered with Empire sensors, making their readings unreliable. When Empire ships tried to scan Earth defenses, they got contradictory results. Mike found a way to broadcast modified Empire messages back to them. Messages containing mathematical errors that any advanced civilization should notice. "We're not attacking them," Jane explained. "We're confusing them, making them doubt themselves. Either they'll realize their bluff isn't working," Sam said, "or they'll be forced to actually demonstrate their power." "And if they do?" General Wilson asked. "Then we'll know exactly what we're dealing with," Tom replied. "Their real capabilities, not their claims." The deadline for Earth's surrender passed. The Empire's ships remained in position, but no attack came. Instead, Admiral Kane demanded another meeting. "They're off script," Mike said, smiling. "They don't know what to do when intimidation fails." For the first time since the ships appeared, laughter echoed through the command center. The mighty Galactic Empire was facing something they'd never encountered before. Humans who asked questions. "Ready for round 2?" Jane asked as they prepared for the next meeting. Mike nodded. "Let's show them what human ingenuity really means." Admiral Kane was not happy. His gray face showed darker spots, the Empire equivalent of anger. The human team sat across from him in the same meeting room as before. "You have ignored our deadline," Kane said. "This is unprecedented." Jane smiled politely. "We needed more time to consider your generous offer." "There is no negotiation," Kane insisted. "You will surrender or face destruction. Perhaps a small demonstration of your power would help convince our leaders," Tom suggested innocently. Kane's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "Very well. Observe." On the large screen, they watched as an Empire ship positioned itself over the Pacific Ocean, far from any islands. A beam of light shot down, and a massive explosion followed. Water rose in a huge column. Tom checked readings on a small device he'd brought. He nodded slightly to the others, just as they suspected. Conventional explosives with light effects, not the quantum fusion they claimed. Impressive, Sam said, pretending to be scared. But our scientists have questions about the physics involved. Your primitive science cannot understand our technology, Kane said quickly. Mike leaned forward. Then perhaps you could explain how your quantum fusion avoids the Heisenberg compensation problem. This was nonsense, a made-up term, but Kane didn't know that. He hesitated, clearly unsure how to respond. That is classified information, he finally said. Back on Earth, Operation Jester moved to Phase 2. While the team kept the Empire leaders distracted with questions, Sam's computer experts infiltrated more Empire systems. They're remarkably vulnerable to basic hacking, Sam reported. Their security assumes no one would dare try to breach their systems. They discovered that the Empire had never encountered resistance before. Every other species had surrendered after the first show of force. The Empire had no actual battle plans for Earth. Their entire military doctrine is based on fear, not fighting, Jane said during a briefing. And fear only works if you believe in it. The next day, when Empire ships tried to scan military bases, Tom's devices sent back false readings. When they attempted to jam Earth communications, Mike's programs made it seem like their efforts failed. They're getting frustrated, Sam noted as they monitored Empire communications. Lower-ranking officers are questioning orders. The Empire demanded another meeting. This time, Admiral Kane brought more officers with him. Your resistance is futile, Kane said, but his voice lacked conviction. We have conquered thousands of worlds. Actually, Mike said casually, according to your own records, it's 217 worlds. And you didn't conquer them. They surrendered. Kane's face darkened further. How could you access our records? The same way we accessed your weapon specifications, Tom said, bluffing. Your planet destroyer uses outdated fusion technology with a maximum yield of only 50 megatons. This was a guess, but Kane's reaction confirmed it. The other Empire officers looked at each other in confusion. These humans lie, Kane shouted. Prepare the main weapon. We will destroy their largest city. One of his officers stepped forward. Admiral, our systems are reporting malfunctions. The main weapon cannot target properly. This was Tom's countermeasure at work, jamming their targeting systems. Fix it, Kane ordered. We're trying, but human communications are somehow interfering with our systems. Jane leaned toward the other humans. They're breaking protocol. This isn't in their usual script. For the first time, humans weren't following the Empire's expected pattern of terrified submission. Instead, Earth was pushing back, asking questions, exploiting weaknesses. As they left the mothership, Mike noticed something remarkable. Some of the Empire officers were watching Admiral Kane with doubt in their eyes. Operation Jester was working. The mighty Empire was beginning to look less mighty by the hour. A week had passed since the ships first appeared. What started as Earth's darkest hour was turning into something unexpected. Admiral Kane's daily threats became less confident. Empire ships moved positions frequently, as if unsure what to do. Some smaller ships disappeared entirely, retreating to positions behind the moon. They're arguing among themselves, Sam reported, monitoring their communications. Kane is being questioned by his superiors. They want to know why Earth hasn't surrendered. In a secure underground facility, Mike met with someone unexpected, an Empire scientist who had secretly contacted Earth. My name is Ren, the alien said nervously. 4 eyes darted around the room. What you're doing is unprecedented. No species has ever questioned our technology before. Why are you talking to us? Mike asked. Because Kane is dangerous. He'll destroy his own ships to maintain the illusion of Empire power. Ren hesitated. The truth is, most of our technology is borrowed. We found ancient ruins across the galaxy and learned to operate their machines, but we don't understand how they work. This explained everything. The Empire used technology they couldn't explain because they didn't understand it themselves. How many others in the Empire know this? Jane asked. The High Command. Scientists like me. But most believe the propaganda. Ren looked down. We conquered primitive worlds easily. They saw our ships and surrendered. No one ever asked questions. Tom smiled. Until humans. Kane will be replaced soon, Ren warned. His failure with Earth is embarrassing the Empire, but his replacement might be more dangerous, more desperate. When Ren left, the team shared this information with world leaders. This changes everything, the president said. If the Empire is built on lies, maybe others know it too. Jane had a bold idea. What if we broadcast what we've learned to the other conquered worlds? Too risky, General Wilson argued. We can barely handle the ships here. Actually, Sam interrupted, showing data on a screen. We've detected unusual signal patterns. Other worlds are already watching us. They've noticed Earth hasn't surrendered. The Empire's reaction confirmed Sam's theory. More ships arrived, but instead of attacking, they formed a blockade around Earth. They're trying to cut us off, Jane said. They don't want other worlds to see what's happening here. But it was too late. News of human resistance had already spread. The Empire's carefully maintained image was cracking. Admiral Kane made one last desperate move. He demanded a worldwide broadcast to all humans. People of Earth, he said, his voice booming across televisions and radios. Your leaders are prolonging your suffering. I offer mercy one final time. Surrender within 1 day or face the consequences. Instead of fear, something strange happened. People laughed. Memes about the Empire spread online. Comedy shows made jokes about Admiral Kane. Street vendors sold Survive the Empire t-shirts. The Empire's greatest weapon, fear, had stopped working. In the command center, the team watched as Empire communications became chaotic. Kane has been recalled, Sam announced, reading intercepted messages. Their high command is sending someone else to deal with the Earth problem. That buys us time, Jane said. Mike nodded. And more importantly, it shows other worlds that the Empire can be challenged. Tom looked at the radar showing Empire ships retreating from Earth orbit. I never thought humanity's greatest defense would be asking questions and making jokes. General Wilson smiled for the first time in days. Sometimes the best way to fight fear is with laughter. The Empire that once seemed all-powerful was now struggling to handle one small planet that refused to be afraid. The new Empire commander arrived in a ship twice the size of Kane's. Commander Dax was older, with darker gray skin and cold eyes. His first message to Earth was simple: no more negotiations. They're positioning attack ships, Sam reported, watching radar screens. This looks serious. But before Dax could act, something unexpected happened. 3 ships approached Earth, not from the Empire fleet, but from deep space. We're receiving a transmission, Mike said. It's not in Empire language. The message came from representatives of 3 conquered worlds, Lyra, Vox, and Tellus. They had been watching Earth and wanted to help. Your resistance has given us hope, said the Lyran ambassador, a tall being with blue skin. For 50 years, we've lived under Empire rule. We want freedom too. Jane arranged a secret meeting. The alien representatives met with Earth's team in an underwater facility where Empire sensors couldn't detect them. We have information about Empire weaknesses, the Vox representative said, but we need help organizing resistance on our worlds. Sam immediately saw the opportunity. We can create a network, share information between all resistant planets. The Empire controls our communications, the Tellus ambassador warned. Tom smiled. Not for long. We've developed methods to bypass their systems. Within days, a secret coalition formed. Earth shared its discoveries about Empire technology. The other worlds shared knowledge of Empire operations across the galaxy. They've been lying to everyone, Mike realized as he studied the new information. Each conquered world thinks the Empire has destroyed others who resisted, but there's no record of actual planet destruction. The coalition grew quickly. Representatives from 5 more worlds joined secretly. Each brought valuable intelligence. Earth provided something unique, a defiant attitude that inspired others. Humans taught coalition members how to question Empire technology, how to find weaknesses in their systems. Tom worked with alien scientists to improve their technology. The Empire has been holding back scientific progress, he explained. They don't want anyone understanding how things really work. Jane trained a multi-species resistance group in guerrilla tactics. We don't fight them directly, she taught. We undermine their authority. We make them look weak. Commander Dax grew increasingly frustrated. His threats against Earth weren't working, and now he was receiving reports of unrest on other worlds. It's spreading like a virus, he complained to his officers. These humans have infected the galaxy with disobedience. The Empire tried to isolate Earth completely, creating a blockade of ships. But it was too late. The coalition had established secret communication channels. Sam coordinated the largest information operation in galactic history. On a single day, across 12 worlds, the same message appeared. The Empire is a lie. Evidence of Empire deception spread rapidly. Records of faked demonstrations, reports of technological failures, testimony from scientists like Wren. Dax responded with force, sending ships to punish rebel worlds. But something shocking happened. Many Empire ships refused to fire. Lower-ranking officers are joining us, the Lyran ambassador reported excitedly. They've believed the lies too. Now they're questioning everything. In just 3 weeks, Earth had gone from a planet facing destruction to the center of a galactic resistance. The coalition now included representatives from 17 worlds, with more joining daily. We need to prepare for their final move, Jane warned during a coalition meeting. Dax won't give up Empire power without a fight. Mike nodded. Then we make sure it's a fight they can't win. The once mighty Galactic Empire now faced something far more powerful than technology, unity among those they had oppressed. Commander Dax stood before the Empire's High Council, his gray face almost white with fear. The situation is beyond control, he admitted. 17 worlds in open rebellion. 30 more showing signs of unrest. A third of our fleet refusing orders. How did this happen? Demanded the High Leader, the oldest and most powerful Empire ruler. One primitive planet caused all this. The humans. Dax said the word like it tasted bad. They questioned everything. They found our weaknesses. They shared what they learned. The High Leader's decision was swift. Destroy Earth. Use the ancient weapon. Make an example of them. Across the galaxy, the coalition monitored this exchange through spies in the Empire ranks. They're bringing something called the Eraser to Earth, Sam reported to the coalition leaders. It's kept in a secret location, the only real planet killer they have. Can we stop it? Asked the Tellus ambassador. Jane looked at the data. We don't have to stop it. We just need to expose it. The coalition created its boldest plan yet. While the Empire prepared their superweapon, coalition ships from all 17 worlds gathered near Earth, not to fight, but to witness. They want an audience, Mike explained to world leaders. The Empire's power comes from stories of their strength. We're going to tell a different story. When the Empire's massive weapon ship arrived, it was met by hundreds of small coalition vessels broadcasting everything they saw to all conquered worlds. Commander Dax appeared on all Earth screens. Humans, your defiance ends today. Witness the true power of the Galactic Empire. The weapon ship opened to reveal an enormous cannon. It began charging, glowing with energy. Readings went off the charts. Tom watched the data from his instruments. It's actually powerful, he admitted. But look at the design. It's completely different from their other technology. The coalition broadcast close-up images of the weapon. Scientists across the galaxy noticed what Tom had seen. This wasn't Empire technology. This was something ancient, something stolen. Now, Jane ordered. At her command, Wren and other defecting Empire scientists transmitted the truth to every world. Historical records showing how the Empire had found this single weapon in ancient ruins, how they had based their entire conquest on the threat of a device they barely understood and couldn't replicate. As the weapon prepared to fire at Earth, 3 Empire cruisers suddenly moved into position around it. "We refuse this order," announced their captain, broadcasting on all frequencies. "The deception ends today." Dax screamed orders, but more ships broke formation. The Empire fleet began to split between loyal ships and defectors. The weapon fired, but the defector ships blocked its path. The blast destroyed them but lost power before reaching Earth. "All coalition forces, broadcast now," Sam ordered. Every screen across the galaxy showed the same images. The failed attack, the Empire ships turning against each other, and the weak second attempt of the weapon that proved it couldn't destroy a planet as claimed. The Empire's ultimate bluff had been called. Within hours, Empire control collapsed across dozens of worlds. The High Council fled as their ships deserted them. Commander Dax was captured by his own officers. 1 month after the ships first appeared over Earth, the team gathered on a hillside, looking up at the stars. "I still can't believe it," General Wilson said. "We defeated the galaxy's greatest power without firing a shot." "We didn't defeat them," Mike corrected. "We exposed them." The Empire defeated itself once people stopped being afraid. Jane looked at reports on her tablet. "The Coalition is forming a new Galactic Council. They've asked Earth to lead it." "What did you tell them?" Sam asked. "I said we'd be happy to join as equals," Jane smiled. "We have a lot to learn about the galaxy, but we can teach a few things too." Tom raised a glass. "To the Empire that threatened humanity and became a joke." They laughed together under the stars as ships from a dozen worlds peacefully orbited overhead.